Welcome to Prescribing Lifestyle, the podcast that's all about empowering you to live your healthiest, happiest life. I'm your host, Dr. Avi Charlton, and each week we'll dive into the latest research, practical tips, and inspiring stories to help you optimize your well-being. From nutrition and fitness to mental health and mindfulness, we'll explore every aspect of lifestyle medicine, giving you the tools you need to make informed decisions and take control of your health. Whether you're looking into preventing disease, managing chronic conditions, or simply elevate your quality of life, Prescribing Lifestyle is here to guide you on your journey to wellness. So, sit back, relax, and get ready to embark on this transformative adventure towards a healthier, happier you. Let's dive in. Hello, welcome to another episode of Prescribing Lifestyle. Today, I'm going to talk about mindfulness, practical mindfulness, how to practice what is mindfulness and how it can benefit you. What is mindfulness? When I talk about mindfulness to my patients or my friends, they all roll their eyes and they go, "Oh, I just can't have my mind blank. I can't practice it. I can't have one thought at a time. I can't control my thoughts. I'm too easily distracted. I just can't practice it. I'm too busy. I tried it. It doesn't work for me." But mindfulness doesn't have to be like that. There's formal practice, there's informal practice. We can start with informal practice first. You don't have to spend any time, any extra time on doing it. But what is mindfulness? Mindfulness just means having a non-judgmental awareness of the present moment. So noticing your present moment, don't judge it, and non-attachment. Noticing it without attachment. Just noticing what's happening in the present. There's no need to be preoccupied with the past or the future. You just have to notice the present. There's no need to judge it. There's no need to be attached. You don't have to cling on to the present moment. You don't have to change whatever's happening. So when you practice mindfulness, it's just noticing what's happening here and now. The more you practice, the more you get mindful and get better at it. There are informal practices and there are formal practices. So you can start with some informal practice. When you do something that you already do, you start to notice what's happening. You can start with brushing your teeth. You already brush your teeth every day in the morning. Maybe start noticing how you're feeling while you're brushing your teeth. There's no need to judge it. There's no need to comment on it. Maybe notice any emotion that comes up. Notice the toothpaste. Notice how your body's feeling. Notice how your sleep was. And move on. And you just have to notice it for a minute or two while you're practicing, while you're brushing your teeth. And quite commonly, your mind will just have different thoughts that come up. Let's say the thought will come up that maybe you would think, "Oh, I have got to do this. I've got to drop a child off. I've got to do some shopping. I've got to do this at work." Noticing it, noticing the thought coming in, and gently noticing what you're doing right now. Practice bringing your awareness back to what you're doing. So that's just informal practice. You can practice mindfulness while you're eating. Notice the taste of your food. Notice what's happening in your mind. Notice the texture of your food. Notice the smell of what your food is happening. So those are informal practices. And then there's many more, which I can give example for a bit later. And then there's formal practices of mindfulness, which I love to do as well. I think the more you practice the formal practice, the more you will get better at noticing what your body is feeling. So I like to practice formal practice first thing in the morning. My routine is I make a coffee and I sit with my coffee and I do breath work for anything between 5 minutes to 15 minutes, up to half an hour when I have time on the weekends. I do get a track from Insight Timer or something that I've saved up from one of the breathing workshops that I have gathered. So I do this breath work that I like to do. Doing breath work really cultivates mindfulness because you're listening to your breathing. And there are thoughts that'll come up, noticing it and gently returning your thoughts back to your breathing. There's no need to have a blank mind. There's no need to berate yourself that you have these thoughts coming in. So you can practice mindfully breathing. For example, you can breathe in for 5 counts and breathe out for 5 counts. You can do this as a formal breathwork practice for 5 minutes, closing your eyes and sitting down quietly. Or you can even do it anytime you like when you need to calm down. This is called coherent breathing. And I have a podcast episode, I think it's episode 26 in my prescribing lifestyle podcast, where I record a 5 minute coherent breathing, breathe in for 5 counts, breathe out for 5 counts. And it's a guided breathwork exercise that you can pull out anytime you need to have a breathwork. You can do it before you have a panic attack. Breathe in for 5 counts, breathe out for 5 counts. There's a lady that I've coached and she has panic attacks quite often. I suggested her to practice this coherent breathing. Just breathe in for 5 counts, breathe out for 5 counts. And she was about to have a panic attack when she was driving into inner city traffic. And she told herself that that's okay, just breathe. And she practiced this counting breathing. And that was an amazing way to settle and calm her nervous system down. And she prevented herself from having a panic attack. So breath awareness is an amazing way to cultivate mindfulness. And you can slow down your breathing. You can practice breathing light, practice diaphragmatic breathing, deep breathing. Notice your diaphragm. Notice your belly in and out. Body scan is another way of practicing mindfulness. You can search non-sleep deep rest or yoga nidra, which is an amazing way as a guided body scan. Tune into your body sensations. Start from top to toe or toe to bottom, toe to top. You can do a body scan from the top of your head and then your eyes, noticing your jaw, your mouth, your taste buds, all the way from your shoulders to your belly, to your hips, to your knees and your toes, noticing how your body is feeling. There's no right or wrong way of doing this, and simply tuning into physical sensations, doing a non-sleep deep rest, and just doing a body scan can help you tune into your bodily mindfulness. You don't have to do this as a formal practice. You can do it when you're driving, just noticing how your hands are feeling, just noticing what you're smelling. You can think of the five senses. You can do a mindful practice, noticing those five senses. Pick something to notice what you're seeing. I'm looking at my ring light at the moment and just noticing the color of it and the different light that comes out. Then you move on to the next sense, noticing what you're smelling. Maybe some smell from the outside that comes up. Maybe I've just done an exercise and I actually smell of sweat. Noticing what you're tasting. I had my morning coffee and I still taste the remnant of my morning coffee. So just noticing it, there's no need to judge. Think of what you're touching. Just find something to touch. Touch the texture. Notice the texture, noticing what you're touching, and noticing what you're hearing. I can hear my own voice. I can also hear my dog who is just moving around in the lounge next door. Sometimes when you're heightened up, when you're worried about something, noticing those five senses can really bring you into a mindfulness. I had a lady who had some work stress and she was in tears when she came in to see me. Her boss was gaslighting her and not a very good boss at all. She wants to leave the job, but she's just very heightened, very nervous, and affecting her confidence on her approaching her new jobs. So she was, let's say, 100% heightened in that state. She was finding it difficult to regulate her emotions. So I suggested her practicing mindfulness. This may bring her from 100% heightened to 90% heightened. Bring her down a little bit, just for a moment, noticing those five senses. You don't have to worry about the past. Don't think about what she did to you, just for a moment. Don't think about the future. Don't think about what your future job looks like. Just for maybe a minute, noticing those five senses can help you practice mindfulness. Just notice the present. No need to judge. No need to be aware. Just be aware of what's happening. Another way of practicing mindfulness is practicing gratitude. I formally do a gratitude journal last thing in my day. I have a journal that I keep next to my bed and I write down three things that I'm grateful for the day. It doesn't take me a minute to write down three things that I'm grateful for what's happened in the day. It helps me to notice what's happened. Then I think about what's been happening. Quite often, I would say, I did a great breathwork session in the morning. I did a great run first thing in the morning. Or I might say, my 12-year-old son had a great basketball match. And I might say that my 16-year-old son has just passed his driving license. So sometimes it's just little things that I write down. It really doesn't take long to practice gratitude. My gratitude chat journal also says write down three things first thing in the morning and then again three things last thing at night. But I have found that I have just stick to the habit of writing down three things at night in the evening before I go to bed. So I just sit on my bed and I write this down before I go to sleep. I also like to practice mindful walking. I actually just went for a walk for half an hour. So on Sundays, I would not do any strength or running and I go for a walk. So mindful walking is pretty simple. Tuning in to the rhythm of your steps. Notice how your steps are moving. Notice how your feet are moving in the nature. Noticing the sounds of nature. There's no need to judge it. I notice the kookaburra making noises. Sometimes there's kangaroos in the bush in my backyard. Sometimes there is flowers that smells lovely. Noticing how I'm feeling. Noticing my emotions. That is just mindful walking. And then the last suggestion is noticing challenging times. Noticing what's happening in your mind. Managing your stress and noticing emotions. As I said in my previous episode that I do have some stress going on. I'm going through an APRA notification and noticing this can be stressful for me and noticing that it can affect my emotions, but noticing myself that I'm getting used to these emotions. and trying to not let it push me too hard. Noticing what's happening as stressful periods that can help with balancing work, balancing life. So I hope there are good tools that I have suggested. There's a lot more you can do to practice mindfulness. For example, you can do cooking while you're practicing mindfulness, just noticing what you're cooking. I have a friend who does mindful baking. So baking can often be a mindfulness practice, just noticing your mind while you're cooking, while you're baking. You can start with one practice, and the more consistent you are, the more you improve your neuro pathway and you get better at it. There's lots of mindful resources and guided meditation that you can do. I like to subscribe to Insight Timer, which I'm trying to get myself as a teacher on Insight Timer. It's a free app and I've used it for free for many years. Now I have paid for it to access many more lessons on the Insight Timer. So you can dig out Insight Timer. There's lots more apps that you can do, and a lot of them are free, like Headspace or Calm, or even just YouTube and get some mindfulness recordings that you can do. You can subscribe to my 10 Days Breathe Together with Me on my Breathe in Health website. And you can do this mindfulness anytime you like. There's no need to judge, no need to think about the past, no need to think about the future. I hope this episode has been helpful to you and cultivate your mindfulness practice. Reach out to me if you have any questions. And as I always say, if you don't look after yourself, you can't look after anybody else. Thank you for listening in, and stay tuned for more episodes on prescribing lifestyle. Hope you like it. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Prescribing Lifestyle Podcast. Before we wrap up, I have an exciting news to share. I have a new ebook called Low Carb Made Easy. It's now available. This guide is perfect for anyone looking to dive into the low carb lifestyle. Inside, you'll find the basic theory behind low carb eating, a detailed food list, practical meal plan, and a variety of delicious recipes. It's designed to make a journey to better health easier, simpler, and enjoyable. For those who prefer a hard copy, head over to my website and register your interest using the link provided. My website is www.mlcclinic.com.au. Head to online store. Remember, the information shared in this podcast, it's for educational purposes only and not proper medical advice. Always consult your medical professional before making any changes to your lifestyle and diet, or you can come and see me in Melbourne Low Carb Clinic. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and stay connected with us on social media. Your feedback will help us improve and reach more listeners. Lastly, if you found this episode helpful, please share it with your friends and family. Together, we can make a positive impact to our health and our communities. Thanks again for listening, and as always, stay healthy and happy. Until next time.